All right, welcome to a new episode of Buckets, Boards, and Banner. I'm your host, John. This is Rob. We cover all the news you want to hear about the NBA, and we give our opinion on hot topics. Today is Tuesday, February 10th. Rob, how we doing?
I'm doing good, man. I just got back from a Bad Bunny concert.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, it's crazy how like there was basketball early on Sunday, and then like in the evening it's like boom, it's nothing. It's just
Yeah.
even when you follow like other like basketball like people like talking heads, it's all football. That's crazy
Yeah.
on that Sunday night.
They switch it up, man. Everything stops for Super Bowl, it feels like.
Yeah. But Super Bowl is over now. I mean that was the game was kind of a snoozer, but
Yeah.
hopefully
So,
I guarantee the NBA finals will probably be way more exciting than that game. But there's a lot of news that came out this past week. You ready to jump into it?
yeah, let's do it.
All right. So let's see here. So fight night. So I don't know if you saw it last night. There was actually two fights that happened. First one involved what is it, the Timberwolves and the Hawks. So Naz Reid was pushed to the ground by Mohammed Guy. So he took exception to that and he kind of just grabbed him and shoved him back, and then it just became a big tussle. Um, I don't know, for both of these that we're going to talk about. There's been no like consequences yet, but
Uh,
we had that fight, and then the big fight was the one involving Diabate from Charlotte and Jalen Duren from Detroit. So it looked like Diabate had fouled him. Duren, as he was trying to drive into the lane, he gets hit. Duren gets pretty upset. He goes, or Diabate then gets in his face, kind of like puts his head into him. And then when Duren kind of just slapped his head away or mushed his head, then it just got crazy from there. And then there's just people just jumping in out of everywhere. Uh, it was pretty cool to see, but it was one of those things, how in the NBA, there's these fights are just kind of like people like walking up on each other and then people separating. No, there was hands flying.
yeah. Um, I think the way Jalen Duren, you said it right, mushed Diabate's head. Like, I'm not going to promote violence, but you gotta do something after that. Like, the photos I saw, his hand completely covered Diabate's left side of his face, pushes him out, and I was like, yeah, if there's a moment when you got to swing on somebody, that's probably when you got to do it. So, I think that justified. I think some of the main call outs, right, is Isaiah Stewart not involved in it, and then rushes from the bench to to attack Miles Bridges. Out of nowhere, you just see Isaiah Stewart come out. Didn't even take off his ice wraps on his knees.
No, yeah, just chasing them with everything just falling off of them.
I think that stuck out, and then Duncan Robinson walking away from the fray and kind of shrugging it off. I think you obviously
he didn't want no part of that.
You think of Malice in the Palace, you think of the Pacers and what they were doing with fans, but before that, right? Like, these were physical altercations with Pistons players. You think of the Bad Boys Pistons, so you think of toughness and grit. I think it's a little wild. I think Duncan Robinson, they were giving him a lot of crap for it on a lot of the rounds this morning for not at least grabbing one of his teammates and helping him out. I think that's what you see, though. That's a young Pistons team for the most part, right? Like, man, you're at the top of the standings. You're playing so well. You'd hope that they'd have like some good leadership in there to pull them away from the fray. But I don't know. I don't think the foul. I don't know what your thoughts are. I didn't think the foul seemed excessive from.
I don't think it was agreed.
Diabate. No? Yeah, I don't think it seemed. He fouled him. I think he fouled him so he could make the shot. But yeah, I don't think anything seemed like unnecessary. I don't think they were going to review it for anything until obviously the fight starts afterwards. But pretty unique, right? Like NBA players are not known for really throwing hands. Like, there's a lot of pushing, shoving, posturing for each other, and I think that's how it started. But to see them then go full on, I'm anxious to see what suspensions look like for them. I'd say you got to be looking at probably the 3 to 5 game suspension, maybe with fist throwing for some of them, and then you got players leaving the bench, so they're going to get suspended. But I'd be anxious to see what it turns out to be for them, especially at the top of the rankings.
Those big swings, I didn't really see. Did you catch any ones land? I saw him.
It looked like Diabate might have caught Duran possibly, but that's also the other thing. NBA players probably have the worst connection percentage in terms of like punches they throw. It's just amazing like how many don't get to hit their mark. So I didn't see too much. It looked like Diabate might have caught him with something slight from his left hand, a jab or something. And Duran, but even Duran, he's a huge kid. He walked away and pulled away. Diabate just kept going after him. It resembled when they were having to grab Isaiah Stewart previously
from LeBron,
going after LeBron. Yeah, like where they had to keep pulling him away, and everywhere you looked, Diabate was just coming after him. And then I don't recall how Miles Bridges got into it, but I just remember seeing the video portion where Miles Bridges is being pulled away from the scrum by coaches, and then you just see Isaiah Stewart full on storm towards him, and then they both kind of score up, and nothing really happened there. I think they kind of got into each other, grabbed each other, and then they broke apart. Nothing long term, but I love that all the photos I've seen of Isaiah Stewart since then have been of his wife and his kid and him together in like a family portrait. So it's so off from what you normally see for him, but he looks like just a regular dad in the photos. It's so hilarious. And then the video after will play of him like attacking someone or chasing him down.
Goes down on the court, that dude looks possessed. Like
I'll tell you what, though, man. As a teammate, like you can't say Isaiah Stewart didn't have your back. He's not even involved in the play. He's on the bench
Miles
getting
Bridges
treatment
too. Those two guys, Bridges, he got in there, and Isaiah Stewart. So if you're gonna go to battle, those are probably the two guys you want.
Yeah. There's two guys there. I think the good thing is, right, you don't see your stars. So Brandon Miller, LaMelo, they're not involved in anything. Cade Cunningham on the other side. Obviously, Jaren Duran's one of your key players, but your Cades, your LaMelos, like you want them out of the scrum. So, but I mean, in a while, right? Like probably the worst kind of like fight or altercation that the NBA's had in a bit, right? So I wonder if Adam Silver puts his foot down with it. Obviously, the bad press that they've had with some of the gambling things and stuff like that. Like, I wonder if this is something that he decides to just kind of nip and give heavier suspensions or not. I don't foresee that. I think you'll see 3 to 5 games apiece for those players. I'd say Duran and Diabate for sure. You're probably Miles Bridges and Isaiah Stewart. I'd have to look at who came off the benches, but those 4 guys are getting some suspensions for throwing punches. So the Hornets have been playing really well. So to see them, maybe lose a couple players, starters for them hurts. Denver obviously has been playing amazing and done a really good job at the top of the East. So you wonder how it impacts them overall, the next couple weeks with players being out. So,
okay. All right. Well, that was kind of exciting last night. In other news, more All-Star replacements were announced. So let's see here. So we talked about Kawhi actually getting into the All-Star game last week when they needed the numbers to kind of even out. There's 2 more that's been announced. So Şengün replaces Shai Gilgeous-Alexander because Shai's hurt, and then Brandon Ingram was recently announced to replace Steph Curry in the All-Star game. So it kind of seems like all the uproar from all the snubs, all these people that they mentioned, it seems like it's kind of fizzled down just because it kind of evens out in the end. What do you think?
Yeah, I think Şengün probably deserved it over. For me, I think he deserved it over Chet, and so him getting it now, I think great. Obviously, he's replacing on the world team. If you try to think of who else on the world, Lauri Markkanen maybe, but I mean, I think Şengün deserves it, and where they're at in the standings over Utah, I think he's a good replacement for them. A little dynamic change in what you see for the world team, right? Because now you go from a point guard who's running that, obviously MVP of the league, to another big, right? So you've got Wemby, Jokic, Şengün, And Sengun and Jokic, for as talented as they are, right? Like, not really built for the All-Star game. So I wonder like what that impact looks like for them. I think they're gonna have some competitors on that team. You got Jamal Murray now, who becomes your kind of your point there. So I like that. And then from Brandon Ingram's side, he's been an All-Star before, right? Is this is a second time All-Star? I feel like he got on the list prior, Brandon Ingram.
I'm not 100% sure. I believe he's been in there at least one other time.
Yeah, but I think good for him, like good representation there. Kind of interesting to see the Raptors with 2 All-Stars, just with how they're kind of set. So that's a unique turn of events, like not something you expect. But I think he's had like a really good year for them, and really taking it on since getting out of New Orleans. So I think both those picks are like good for them.
Okay. So we'll go ahead and go from All-Stars to all NBA honors, which LeBron will not be a part of this year. With LeBron sitting out tonight against the Spurs, he won't reach the 65 game threshold. So this ends his 21 straight years of all NBA. So that's kind of interesting. We talked about this being the end. Is this more proof that that's coming?
I think it shows that he's human again. I think the season kind of showed it, right? Like I think even last year and in spurts this year, you just didn't think, man, like this guy just doesn't age. And then I think you see it kind of caught up. I think they're more for strategy, probably a lot of the resting that he's had around it. But it's going to be interesting to not see him in those things. I think he's always at least snuck himself into third team All NBA, right? Or he's made some third team All NBA or All Defense to get in there. So coming as an All Star, great, but it's the change in the guard really now, right? Like you got Steph won't play in the All Star game because of injury. You got LeBron, not eligible for any of those awards. So it's really there. I think it still sets in like next year, the year after, it's got to be his last. I just think the final hurrah is coming for him, but it'll be interesting to see. I think there's just so many deserving guys this year that when you get there, I don't think you're going to have a ton of names that you'd say, oh, LeBron should have been placed there over someone else, unless he just goes crazy after All-Star break. But there's a lot of talent in the NBA right now. Like I don't from that standpoint, I don't think you're going to say anyone else. He's snubbed by not being on any of those lists, even if he played, the amount he needed to.
All right. A little off topic, but so for this game, LeBron's sitting out, Luka's sitting out, Reeves is sitting out, and who was it? Marcus Smart is sitting out against the Spurs. It's a back-to-back, but they're doing this tonight. The last, what was it? The Spurs versus Thunder last week. The Thunder basically benched their whole team. What's up with this? Why aren't players playing their best players or teams playing their best players against the Spurs?
The caveat is, I remember national TV games that the Spurs did this, and seeing Tim and Tony and Manu sitting on the bench and Coach Pop laughing, and the NBA finding them for this issue. So I think there's some gamesmanship there, right? If you're the Lakers back to back, already dealt with player injuries, you've got guys sitting out consistently. So for that, maybe it is, hey, like we're coming off back to back, like we've already lost the season series to this team. What are we gonna get from going in there and playing them? And we'll take our lick and move back and get ready for All-Star to get some rest. I think for OKC, it most likely to me felt like it was psychological, where hey, we just beat them by 20 at home. We'll go down there, we rest our guys, and they've now like they've got to end their season feeling like, hey, we're gonna most likely, this is before the game, right? Like most likely we're gonna beat their B team, and we already beat them at home. But you went 1-3 against them already. So I think the stuff out there was, well, like you're 4-1 against OKC, but the last game you played their B team. It's like, well, yeah, but they beat their starters 3 other games. So
Yeah.
I don't know if it does much for a psychological match. I think OKC just, hey, we played them so much this year. We ended up, 5 head-to-heads. Like, why give them any more ammunition before we go into it? I'm sure Wemby was upset not to see Chet out there. And I still think they took that, the non-starters, like, not as serious, and
Yeah, it's
ended
hard
up
to
in
get
that
up
game up by 10. But
when you're expecting a certain squad, and then you get, not that, the B team, the second string, third string.
Yeah, players
Right.
I think understand it. I think Adam Silver probably a little upset that a couple of these. Tonight's on NBA TV. OKC game was obviously prime time. I'm sure Adam Silver is not happy, and that's obviously why they got an investigation going.
Yeah, they're investigating that. All right, I kind of went off the topic there a little bit. Let's see. So next thing we have here is Jason Tatum. He's actually recently been assigned to the G League for practice, and when he's done there, he's supposed to go back to the Celtics, back to Boston to rehab some more. But it looks more imminent that Jason Tatum should be returning this year. What do you think about Jason Tatum, potentially coming back before the playoffs start or even during the playoffs?
Scary for the East if he gets back. The Celtics are looking really good. I'd say Knicks are rolling right now, but I'd say they look like the second best team, and I do not think they are scared of New York in any capacity. I think they feel like they can take them. Obviously, just made the trade for Vucevic, so I think that's kind of shored up some of their scoring inside, gives them some pick and pop potential. If Tatum's back at 60%, I don't know if they get to the finals or win the finals, but I think it becomes very, very scary for a lot of teams. I just hope that Tatum is fully back and healthy, right? Like you don't want someone to come back for the sake of it to try to make it back early and then re-injure themselves. But from what I'd read about like kind of the new tactics they were looking at for him and what he'd been doing, like they expected the timetable to be quick. I think ultimately, right, if he comes back after All-Star, he got hurt in what round of the playoffs was it? It's not full year, obviously, like coming back pretty early. But it's not the rush, right? I think initially they were talking about he was going to make it to before the season started and playing games. So I think if he goes and gets some work in with the G League team and then comes up and big minutes restriction, I would think for him as he goes into it. And then, playoffs, maybe you pull it up a little bit more. It's a scary team to see. He's a great player. I'd love to see him back on the floor, but obviously like you want to get him long term, not, just for short moments. So
Jaylen Brown's been playing like he's the man, like he knows this is his team. Do the dynamics change when Tatum comes back, and does he try to like insert himself, and is it like Batman Robin, or is it Batman, or like how do they look, or have they played enough basketball before where it's just kind of like let's just pick up where we left off?
Yeah, the knock on them has always been that, right? Like my shot, your shot, and I'm gonna take it and I'm gonna run this offense. I think they are clicking now where Jaylen Brown, yes, like he's putting up numbers, he's an MVP candidate, but I think they have like a more well-rounded motion to their offense now where they are kicking it. The thing you'll say about Jason Tatum is there are a lot of times when he can become a ball stopper. So he's going to get it. He wants to break his defender down. He wants to get, 3 dribbles and a step back put in. He gets himself to the line. So that's the dynamic I think you don't want to lose. I think the good thing is if you put him on minutes restriction, if you get him in the flow of the motion, it probably makes him more deadly than before. So a la Klay Thompson in the Warriors offense, right? Coming back from injury where, hey, like we're going to get you the rock and space to get you open. But I fully think now, like that's the thing, right? Like Jason Tatum, I think most would have as better than Jaylen Brown, but I think Jaylen Brown has always solidified like he is not a Robin to Tatum's Batman. Like if anything, yeah, they are both stars on that team. So
yeah, all right. Well, we'll see. Hopefully, he comes back sooner rather than later. Fully healthy. Looks like he's trending that way. So, all right. So we'll go to our next segment here. So we're gonna do this. So the trade deadline came and went. It ended last week. So we have all the trades that happened. What we did is we picked a few of trades, and we want you to do. It's called better grab at the trade deadline. So
Okay.
what you're gonna do is you have two options, and you tell us what was the better grab. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So first one we have here, better grab. McCain to the Thunder or Kobe White to the Hornets? Which one was a better grab for which team?
In 2 years, McCain. Now, Kobe White. I think the what I see there is Kobe White lifts the floor for the for the Hornets, excuse me, better than McCain can lift or input into the Thunder. He's a great player, and to grab him for what they did with OKC, that's fantastic. But they're the OKC Thunder, right? I think you've got Case and Wallace, Caruso. I think he's a great shooter, probably a better natural shooter than Caruso, not as big, as rugged a defender. I think he's right there with Case and Wallace. He, to me, seems like I can't think of the word, but he is gonna he just gives more to that lineup, where if Isaiah Joe isn't hitting, if I think
more dynamic.
More dynamics to that offense. And they scoop him up for nothing, right? Like, it cost them absolutely nothing to bring him in, and they've already got a really solid group of players. He's another of that 6'3" to 6'4", capable shooter, plays within an offense. He's going to be smart and not get turnovers. So I think that's a great pickup for them. But again, they're OKC. They were going to be great without him. I think Kobe White can really give the Hornets another dynamic to their offense, where LaMelo Ball, who's coming up, and quick shooting, getting them, and he's a great player. Kobe White is just a better playmaker for them on that team. He's going to get to the rim better. He's going to finish better than LaMelo Ball. Gives them more dynamics, especially with how they've been playing now. I'm anxious to see like what he can do for them. Right, they're 25 and 29. I forget where they stand in the East. I can look that up, but they're 10th in the East right now. 25 and 29, 9-1 in their last 10. Kobe White, I think, can get you, in a span of 10 games. Like, he can win you 3 off of that just with his play. So I'd say Kobe White for sure for me. Just a better pickup at the deadline.
All right. On to our next one. Better grab. James Harden to the Cavs or Anthony Davis to the Wizards? These are probably the biggest names in the whole trade deadline.
Well, Lady's not playing the rest of the season. So who knows where he ends up. So I think just de facto Harden. I heard someone say, or read someone say, he was the most plug and play superstar that there's ever been. I think that is always going to be KD to me. But I'm liking what I think can be there, right? I think they've won 2 games since he's been a part of the Cavs. I think he's going to take a lot of the scoring efforts away from Donovan Mitchell. So I agree. And it's the same thing with AD every time. Is he going to play, right? Like, I think it's pretty easy for Harden to be there. Is it going to be playoff James Harden? Is he going to get to push that or give the burden over to Donovan Mitchell, who's been like a good playoff performer? Are Mobley and Allen still going to play well? I think James Harden's going to score the ball, and he's going to give you wins off of his ability there. AD is going to sit for the rest of the year, so I don't think it's a question. Harden's the Cavs right now.
I heard a little bit too that AD wasn't actually he wasn't happy about going.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was like because of money or an extension type deal, but something like that. And I guess Rich Paul didn't know about it either. So
yeah,
I guess it's be interesting to see over the next year or over the summer what happens there. But it looks like hopefully next year with him and Trae Young and that young lineup, hopefully they do some big things. So in the future, who knows? It could be AD to the Wizards. All right, next one. Let's see here. So better grab Kristaps Porzingis to the Warriors or Vucevic to the Celtics?
Oh, come on, Vucevic to the Celtics.
Yeah, no
I mean,
faith in Porzingis.
I'm not gonna say I feel for Warriors fans because they've won a lot and gotten a lot. Porzingis to go from all the Giannis talk to then trade Kuminga and hey, there's no market for him and trade him and then get back Porzingis. I don't know what you're doing, man. Look, you got older, you got older with the trade, you got more injuries with the trade as he's been prone to do. At one point, was he a great pick and pop? I don't want to say great pick and pop. He was a suitable pick and pop option. I think probably a better shooting big man than they've had there for a long time. But is he going to play? Not a lot. Is he going to add to defense? Not a lot. I think a bust of a trade. You had to get rid of Kuminga. That's fine. But no, at all. Where I think Vucevic up and down in terms of his shooting the last couple of years, but I think he's played really well this year. He gives them, he's not a rim protector, but he gives them scoring. And Boston wants to shoot threes and gun. So I think he gives them exactly what they need. Probably, they've done so well with kind of plug-in centers for the last few years that I think he puts them in a good spot with what he is. So by far, I think Vucevic over Porzingis. But
okay, by far. All right, let's go to the next one. So better grab two people that got traded to the Clippers, and they're actually won the last two games, and right now they have a good game against the Rockets. So Darius Garland to the Clippers, or kind of forgotten Mathurin was traded to the Clippers as well.
I think Bennedict Mathurin has the chance to be Norm Powell when he broke out for the Clips.
Ooh.
I think at worst he could be a Lou Will spark plug for them as well. Darius Garland's an all-star, been an all-star before. Injuries, inconsistency, he's fantastic. I just think Mathurin gives them, again, like another punch where Norm Powell has seen him flourish in Miami with how he played there. Mathurin, when he came in as a rookie, was a huge scorer and has done a lot off the bench for Indiana because they just fit better with the pieces that they had. But he can score the ball. He's a strong guard who likes to get to the rim, can take contact, can get to the free throw line. I like that pickup a lot. I think Darius Garland's going to play well for them, but I think he'll lead more. Mathurin, I think, has a good chance for them. Like, hey, pop out, like Norm Powell, or play a really good role off the bench for them if they choose to go that route. I think he could get you 18 off the bench for sure, and score with them. And they're gonna have a lot more options now with the trades that they've made. So.
Yeah, when I really didn't realize, like, when it first happened that Mathurin was traded to
the
Clippers, but then I was looking at it and I was like, they've won the last couple of games. Like, who all do they have now? Because it just seemed like everything was just jumbled up. And Mathurin, I was like, that guy's pretty good. I wonder how we'll do there. But yeah, I'm kind of high on Mathurin between the two.
He's good. I mean, the thing you'll see though is for Indiana at least, right? You got rid of him. That one hurts. But next year, you get Tyrese Haliburton back, and you got Zubac, who's been playing really, really well for the Clippers, and now moving over there. Like, they got some pieces.
And maybe a draft pick.
And they'll get a top pick. So you pair up one of those top blue bloods with Zubac and them. Like, that's a good team with Siakam. So,
all right. So last one. Two teams that aren't doing too well this year. Better grab Zubac to the Pacers or Jaren Jackson Jr. to Utah. Obviously, both these teams stink this year, but both these big guys are pretty good. Which one's a better grab? Probably more so for the future.
I think Zubac to the Pacers. I feel I love the pairing of him, Siakam as your power forward or your three, right? If you're playing someone else at the four there, Neesmith, Haliburton, again, we talked about. Then you've got, a top draft pick coming in and Nembhard and these guys. I like that pick for them, and they're in the East, right? So now you've got this big bruising center who's used to playing against Jokic, Wemby, and all these other bigs in the West. 4 times a year, and now you're going east and you're battling against Cat and Vucevic. Like I think he's going to pair really well when they get Halliburton back next year. So immediate him, like Zubac and the Pacers. I don't hate the Jaren Jackson Jr. trade to there. I think that's a dynamic like starting 5 and overall for their team is good. The same thing is they've got guys that are amazing players. Lauri Markkanen is fantastic. So is Keontae George. They're just like the poor man's version of like a really great player that like, can that guy really lead you? Like they're amazing, but they're not like that face that you want to see. And Jaren Jackson Jr. again, horrible rebounding average. Like it just has not shot great the last couple seasons. You got Walker Kessler off the bench. So like in terms of on paper, it's like, man, it should be hard to get a shot up on these guys and the way they play. I just think overall, and then you're in the West, right? Like you're battling with a ton of teams that are just better than you. And there's a lot of players for his position that they're just better than him. So I think overall, like Zubac gives the Pacers some room where, you would have loved to see Sabonis, right, for the Pacers stick around and be there with the Halliburton. To play together. I think this, I'm not going to say Zubac is that level or caliber player, but he's the potential all-star last year and this year. Wouldn't last year especially, it wouldn't have surprised me if he would have made it. I think that one's going to pair off for them next year. Utah's going to win a few more games this year with their team, but again, you're fighting for the play-in to go and have to face OKC or the Spurs in the first round. I don't think that's something that you're really going to do. They're 17-37. If he wins them an extra, and I'm not going to say he will, but like if he won them an extra 5 games for the year, it's just not doing anything in the West where compared to Zubac.
All right. Yeah. All right. So that was actually the last one for Better Grab. Now we're moving to our next segment, which is the first time we're going to do this on this pod, is our first power rankings on here. Okay, so Rob, do you want to explain kind of how the criteria for the power rankings are? Like, is this something that, is it like this team could beat this team? Is it off of standings? Is it like, what are we going off of here?
Standings play a part in it. We've really looked at like your last 10 RPI or rankings power index. So what's sort of your strength of schedule look like? There's a bit of eye test thrown in there, and then I kind of just call it
eye test.
Yeah, big eye test, and also like who do I think you're better than? Like if I call it just like matchup seed. Like if you played each other, I like your last 10 might be great, but I just think that team is better than you, and I think they'll beat you in a series. And I usually liken that to like who do I think could win in a playoff series against each other for this, or who's proven it, right? So there's a bit, there's no exact science to it though, I think.
Mind you, this power ranking is right before the All-Star weekend, so a lot changed throughout the year or through the rest of the season. What we'll do is we'll do our best to kind of keep up with them weekly. We haven't really done a good job of that up until now, but all right, we'll go ahead and kick it off. So for number 5 in our power rankings, we have the Boston Celtics. Why do we have the Boston Celtics at number 5?
7-3, their last 10. Almost identical home and away schedules for them in conference, 23-13. Big wins on the road. I think the thing for them, right, is I also see them surging at this moment. So you've got an all NBA MVP candidate, Jaylen Brown. You now have Jason Tatum possibly coming back for the end of the season. You make a trade that I think has made you better. And while they're number 5, like I don't think they're a team that's been there. Obviously won a championship recently. And they have the veteran presence and great coach behind them. So I think those are some of the factors that a couple of the other teams on this list don't have, that might, push or pull them down. And I think at the end of it, like, I don't think anyone expects them to be 3rd in the East, 34-19 without Jason Tatum.
They're not supposed to be here right now.
Yeah, they're not. So I think the fact that they are this high and played this well with the adversity they've kind of faced, and now going into All-Star and having a chance to put together, like they're a team to watch for sure.
Yeah, especially I mean, you kind of mentioned it all, but I'm most impressed with kind of the just I thought they would just keep their head above water and just kind of tread there and be in the I think before this season I was thinking like the playing spot, but man, they've blown away like my expectations and seeing Brown just kind of take the team and just put the team on his back and will them, and oh man, like also Brown is really in serious contention for probably MVP. So he should be in our top five for the power rankings. All right. So Celtics number 5, number 4 coming in at number 4 are the Denver Nuggets. Now this one might be controversial if you're strictly looking at maybe like their record in the last 10, but why did we put them at number 4?
Yep, called out 5-5 in their last 10. But they have the best away record in the NBA, 20-9, 19-9 in the conference. So Western Conference just battle every night. They are 19-9 now. They're only 14-11 at home, so that's been tough. But I think for them too, I expected a fall off with Jokic going out for a month.
They did it out, with Jokic.
Yeah. I expected they would drop a bit. I think they stayed exactly where they were. I think they were possibly 2 at the moment he went out, and then Spurs flipped them and been able to kind of keep pace with them there. And they've had, in their last, 4 games, they've dropped, a few games back, 3 games back from the Spurs. But I just think that they have remained consistent. And I think that they, for most of the world, are the epitome of a team that can go in and stop the OKC Thunder. I think the Spurs have obviously risen to that now, but before, I think the Spurs' great record against the Thunder this year, I think most people would have said that Denver was the true team that can knock them off. I think Jamal Murray being an all-star and having a great season plays well for that. You lose Michael Porter Jr., I think people were scared of that. Cam Johnson has not played to the level that I think they hope, but you've had the emergence of Peyton Watson that I think has kind of helped with some of that in the play. The thing for them is going to be injuries, right? You got to watch that the rest of the year. Christian Braun out sometime this year with injuries, Aaron Gordon. So the rest of the year, they'll go as injuries take them. But I think you just can't deny it, like the way they've stayed. Like they're super consistent of a team. And I think for us, again, I think some people might have them down, but I don't think there's any way you just discount what they've done, especially when you got a healthy Jokic out there.
Yeah, when Jokic went down, I expected them to kind of fall into that play-in area. And those guys just hung with it. Like they stayed with. They didn't only keep them afloat; they were just beating people, and really just kind of saw the rise of Jamal Murray just doing, without that stretch. I'm not sure he would even be an all-star. He just without Jokic there, he kind of showed like what he could do without him, and he kind of proved why he's an all-star. So, just being able to have the team to himself for a while, so.
They're a big eye test team. I think you look at it, they are a half game up and a game up on the Rockets and Lakers, but I think they're just better than the Rockets and Lakers and the Timberwolves. As good as the Timberwolves have been against them, I think they are just better than those teams. And I think in a 7-game series, they would overtake all of those teams. I think they would beat most of the Eastern Conference teams in a series. So I just don't. To me, I don't think there's a question that they're again, one of the top 5 teams in the NBA.
Okay. So that's our number 4 team. Now our number 5 team, which is the OKC Thunder.
Number three, yeah.
Oh, number 3, yeah. What number did I say?
5.
Number 3 team is the Thunder. Yeah, so we have OKC at number 3. Obviously, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's a little hurt right now. He should be back, I believe, after the All-Star weekend, but they're still, last we checked, we're 3 games ahead of the second place team, the Spurs, in the standings. So, obviously they have the best record in the league, but why are they number 3?
5-5 in the last 10. Again, Home 22-5, 31-9 in conference. So I'll say this for the Thunder: they win the games they're supposed to win all the time. They do not play down to competition. And I think as we
That's
jump
big.
to a couple of the other teams, like our top two teams, that is an issue that you get with youth. And I think the one thing for them is they've been able to conquer that youth for their team with consistent coaching and some of the veteran leadership that they get through a Caruso, through a Hartenstein, right, on their team. I think for them, where they've fallen this year, have been shaky is when they've come across those emerging teams. So your Spurs, the Rockets, and what they've looked like there.
Wolves.
So, yep, Wolves. Yeah, Wolves as well. So, I think again to come from when the season started for them, or not started, but when they were 24-1, right, and coming out of that, and it was like, hey, can they even lose 5 games this year? To now see them at 13 losses before All-Star, I think confidence has been shaken. I think they have to be the favorites still to win the NBA championship with just their consistency overall. But I think I wouldn't say the blueprint is there to beat them fully, but I think they're the top teams that have the personnel to do it, understand how they can take down the Thunder. So I think like they've been inconsistent. You'd say a few of those losses now recently obviously have been without a lot of their starters in there. Chet's had some time out from injury. SGA, this is the first major injury he's had this year, but I think for them, can they stay healthy again to make a long push in the playoffs, and then can they play right and shoot as well as they had previously in some of these matchups that they'll have in the playoffs with these teams.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, the Thunder, their floor is so high, and I think that's get their record just is amazing. Like you said, they don't lose to bad teams. So, I am curious for them to get hurt. I mean, not get hurt, but get healthy from their injury. McCain, and I mean, they have these new. Well, he's really the only one, but getting him into the mix of things, seeing their rotations, and seeing them healthy, and then start, seeing really all these teams play healthy and kind of see them sorted out. I wonder with their lead dwindling here after the All-Star break, like what types of moves does Dagnall make to just keep them fresh? Is he gonna say like, hey, this still push for the number 1 seed, or is our priority health at this point? So it'll be interesting to see what they do there. But they're still in our top 5 power rankings at number 3. So we'll see where they're at here after the All-Star break. All right, so number 2 are the San Antonio Spurs. All right, so I think this past week, Stephon Castle was actually named Western Conference Player of the Week. They've been playing really good. They've been actually winning the games they're supposed to win, and they've been winning some tough ones. But they, at times, it looks shaky. Some of that youth shows, but they've shown that they can win big games, and they actually. We mentioned the Thunder won 4 out of 5 games against the Thunder. Why else are they number 2?
I mean, the big reason they've got Victor Wembanyama on the court. I think it helps when you're gonna throw out there in any game, and it's arguable, right? Like any game that doesn't include the Thunder or the Bucks possibly, and I mean the Bucks are not a great team, but the Thunder and the Nuggets, really, you have the best player on the court and it's not close. I think Victor continues to shore up for most teams would shore up defensive lapses. The thing is, you have a team that plays tenacious defense out there, right? You got Stephon Castle, you got a bunch of guards who get after it, who play hard, and they know that they have Victor guarding the rim at the back. Cornette has been a really solid center for them. I think for the Spurs, their issues are they play down to competition. So giving up leads in the third quarter and not maintaining, leads into the fourth has hurt them. And then I think you also look at their issues with free throw shooting and 3-point shooting, right? When the Spurs are on, it is firing all gears. They're getting after you. They look like OKC did last year when they were just blowing people out. They're hitting threes. You can't get a shot at the rim. You're getting hounded on the perimeter.
Mm-hmm.
And then when it's bad, and you're going, long stretches of games with no perimeter shooting, and then you see Victor kind of float to the outside. I think they're at their best when they're in transition. They're running, they're getting after teams, but also when they're running, quick motion cuts from, Vic being open at the free throw line, extended in areas like that. And they're young, right? Again, you've got not only a young team, you've got a first-year head coach, right? I think he for most of last year coached and has been there in seasons with Pop, but Mitch Johnson this is his first full season as a head coach.
He looks hungry. Like he wants to like make a name for himself. He looks hungry. He looks like he doesn't only want to win games. He's like pissed off of the Spurs let up at all, kind of bringing that Pop energy for certain things where if he sees them taking a break on defense or one defensive lap, he'll throw a time out there and just shoot it out, and he's really trying to get the most out of the team.
And we said it before we started recording, right? Quick turnaround. They were 20-62 the last 2 seasons. Victor's first 2 years in the league. You tanked the year before that. So in 3 seasons, they've now turned that into second seed in the West, knocked off the top team in the NBA 3 times this year, have multiple wins over other top teams. And I think would, besides maybe a series against the Nuggets or the Thunder, be considered the favorites in any other playoff series, including possibly the Eastern Conference, right? So I think turnaround way ahead of schedule. They stayed pat at the trade deadline when you had Giannis trade rumors looming that you could have made, right, to trade one of your young key players. They've got draft picks. You have young up-and-coming players along with veteran presence like your Harrison Barnes, with your De'Aaron Fox. I think what they need to have in the second half of the season is more consistency from 3 again. Probably an increased role on offense for De'Aaron Fox, where he can kind of take over a bit more, and then just more emergence for, I think, Castle and in the offense. I think Wemby, you know what you're going to get from him, but they're a scary team. Again, I think can they coach in the playoffs from Mitch Johnson perspective? Can they outplay some of these other teams that have been there and done it? As young as OKC is, like, they ran through the playoffs until they got to the finals and had to go to Game 7. But it'll be interesting to see. But I don't think, like, they come out and play, and for as much as they play down to competition, when they play good teams, they come out and play, and they beat most of them. So
yeah, looks like Carter Bryant's been getting some minutes lately too.
Yeah,
trying to, I guess, expand his role or just get him more, just more reps in. But it is a beast on defense, and he's finally, willing to take the 3-point shot.
Yeah.
I think that's a big reason why Sohan has fallen so far down the depth. Carter Bryant's, his effort on defense is undeniable, but he's more of a willing shooter.
Yeah,
and he actually hit some these last.
Willing, great form, athletic as Sohan is, tenacious on D. I think you basically are putting what. Yeah,
but he'll attack the rim.
You're putting what you want from Sohan into him, and he's got a more accurate shot. I think, it unfortunately looks like he's kind of taking that role over. So,
all right. So, number 1 team now in our power rankings, which might come to bite us in the butt after last night. But the number it's the Pistons. Detroit Pistons, the number 1 team. I just mentioned we talked about it. Them having these fights. There's probably going to be some suspensions. Duren's definitely getting suspended. Stewart definitely getting suspended. But what up until this point? Well, I will say this: all that happened, Detroit still won the game. But we have them at number 1. What have they shown this year to earn number 1?
Toughness. I think what they showed last night too is they will go out there and kick butt. Look, I think they've got the formula for it. You have an all NBA caliber player in Cade Cunningham, who will probably most likely be first team All NBA. He was an all-star starter. So you've got a guard who can run your offense. You have a big who can maintain the lane, who is a rim protector, a great rebounder for them. And you've got shooting and toughness with veteran presence on the outside. So I think you get all that with them. Prototypical just kind of package that you want for a team that's playing really well. I think that the things you look at for them, right, they're young in areas that you would want some experience. But I think they've got a good mix of everything. Like Tobias Harris is playing there. Duncan Robinson has finals, NBA finals experience for them as well. So I think you've got that with their coaching. They're set, right? Where you compare it to the Spurs, like none of the Spurs have faced any of that or have played in the playoffs meaningful minutes or meaningful games besides Harrison Barnes, where you've got more of that in Detroit. I just think they have been so physical and so aggressive and tough with teams that that's what leads, right? They're 31-9 in the conference. Again, it's in the Eastern Conference. They're playing. I'm sorry, I'm looking at the West. Sorry, they are 25-7 in conference. Excuse me. 21-6 at home, 17-7 away. They're 7-3 in their last 10, and they've had big wins. And I'll say the teams that the Knicks at 2, they've blown them out twice this year by 30 points. They wanted a tough one against the Celtics. They've looked great against the Cavaliers. They're another team that at times has played down to competition as well. But again, like just really good, playing super consistent. Really excited to see. I think they're a fun team to watch when they're on NBA League Pass as well.
So would you put them as a lock for the finals?
I don't personally. I say they're a lock for the conference finals. I don't think. But if they went up against fully healthy Celts, with Tatum back, I don't know if I pick the Pistons over that team, especially with Vukovic now. For them, they just shoot so many threes. If you can stretch, what they've shown is Duran's a great defender. If you can stretch him out and get him on the perimeter, though, that takes away a lot of his shot blocking and kind of paint operation. And that's what the Celtics are going to do. I don't know if the Knicks are tough enough to battle with them in a series, and they've shown that already this year, that they are just a different level of toughness that they bring than the Knicks. But I think if you've got them in a conference finals against the Celtics, no Tatum, I think I take the Pistons in 7. I think you got Tatum there. I take the Celts over them. So,
okay, all right. So what we'll do now is we'll just kind of recap. So, our power rankings. At number 1, we had the Detroit Pistons. Number 2, we have the San Antonio Spurs. Number 3, the OKC Thunder. Number 4, the Denver Nuggets. Number 5, the Boston Celtics. I don't know why Denver doesn't have the Nuggets there instead of the it was kind of throwing me off there. But that's our power rankings top 5. All right. If you have any issues with these, just feel free to message us and tell us your thoughts. Okay.
Yeah, let us know in the comments.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll get a bunch.
There's some love there. The Cavs can get some love. I'm sure that the Rockets deserve some love as well. But
just on the outside, yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of
they're right there.
There's there. I don't know if I would put the Lakers in the top 5, but
not at all.
But these Laker fans, they'll throw them in regardless. All right. Real quick, we'll look at the NBA standings and see what stands out right now. So we'll start in the East, where let's see. We just talked about Detroit being number 1, New York number 2, Boston in 3rd place there, with a tied record actually with New York. Cleveland in 4th, Toronto in 5th, Philly in 6th, Orlando in 7th, Miami in 8th, Atlanta in 9th, and Charlotte there in the last playing spot in 10th. So kind of looking around at these standings, does anything stand out to you? You see any risers or anyone that would fall, or look about right?
I don't recall the last time I looked at the East and like the Cavs weren't 4th and the Raptors weren't 5th. So that always stands out to me, that they always like fall in. But also, even trading Trae Young, like the Hawks can't fall out of the play-in. Like they are just perennial play-in teams.
Yeah.
And the Bulls are right there. Like the Bulls will be back in the play. It's always Heat, Hawks, Bulls that just manage to be in the play-in every year. That's my takeaway is I don't think the gap doesn't seem big from Celtics to Cavs, a couple games back. But I think there's a distinct shape there. I want to see how Harden plays out for them, but I think you've got a decent gap there from the Celtics to the Cavs, and then you've got the Cavs, Raptors kind of on their own. I'd love to see what the Sixers do. Obviously, you've got Paul George out for some time now with it, but that's to me what stands out kind of in the East. So.
Oh yeah, I didn't mention that. Do you remember how many games he's out for, Paul George?
25.
Oh wow, yeah, 25 games. Okay, yeah, it's interesting to see where they'll be at. Okay, all right. Want to switch over to the West now?
Yeah.
Okay, in the West, so things are a little more tight here. So OKC at number 1, the Spurs at number 2, Denver at number 3, Houston at number 4, the Lakers still hanging in there at number 5, and 6th, Minnesota, Phoenix at number 7, Golden State at number 8, Portland at number 9, and the Clippers still hanging in that play-in at number 10. A lot tighter here. What kind of stands out to you here with the West?
I think you will see. I expect Timberwolves and Suns to hop. I can see the Lakers falling down there. And then the
7th, the Lakers jumping.
I see the Lakers dropping back into the plan. With them, no notable moves I think that improve them. Luke Kennard has been passed around. I don't think that gives them what they wanted from that perspective. I think sitting these guys out for different games, you set yourself up for later. Your team is still the same. I think other teams in the West have gotten better. I want to see. I think it's going to be a fight for third place, right? I think there are teams that are going to want to stay out of having to play the Thunder in the second round. So I think whoever can get into that third place, I think you'll see a scramble from your Nuggets and Rockets there to be able to at least stay. And both those teams have not had great records against the Spurs this year, but I think they want to stay away from playing against OKC probably. So that's at the top of the standings. I look at what does that shape out to be? I think when you look at the end of the year, you'll see some games that you probably have stars sitting out to help with seeding in the playoffs. So.
I'm looking at that 7, 8, 9, 10 range right there. Out of those 4 teams, Phoenix, Golden State, Portland, Clippers, if you had to pick 2 teams and make it out of that into the playoffs, right now, who would you pick?
Right now, Phoenix, and the way they've been playing the Clippers.
That's what I was going to say. The Clippers, if Kawhi's actually healthy, he could get them into the playoffs.
You tell me that the Clippers have to win 2 games against either the Suns and Warriors, or in any combination of that against
Portland, and then they'd probably have to beat Golden State, right?
I think they can win both those games if they've got a healthy Kawhi on their team with their players that they have. Which is a big if when you get to the playoffs, but I think they can. I think they'd be in great shape there. So,
okay, yeah, and this looks like the Spurs are. At one point, Denver was 1 game behind the Spurs. Now it looks like they're 3 or 4 games behind. Spurs should win tonight against the Lakers without any of their starters. No, they should fall down 1 more loss. So it looks like the Spurs are getting a little more comfortable in second place. But if OKC doesn't keep it together, they could find themselves with San Antonio creeping up on them a game or 2. So that'll be interesting to see as we're, after the All-Star weekend. All right, man. Awesome. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts before we go here? Actually, as we're going to the weekend, I don't know if we'll have another video before All-Star weekend, but anything you're looking forward to?
I am less enthusiastic about All-Star Saturday night than I have been, but I will watch. I want to support
Bryant.
the Rooks. Yeah, I want to support Carter Bryant and the dunk contest. And I'd like to see how the Harper family performs.
Oh yeah.
And their
So what?
event. So
You know what that is? Because I heard they got rid of the skills challenge, but I thought that's what they were.
I did
saying.
not see. I gotta review what it is, but I just saw that they paired up the Ron Harper and then his two sons. So yeah, that'll be great. I'm anxious to see Harper Jr. and Dylan Harper out there. So I'll support the Spurs Rooks and kind of look forward for that. So yeah.
Yeah. I'm with you. I'm not sure what I'm looking forward to that night. Maybe we're looking forward more to the Sunday night the games, maybe to just kind of see what happens, see what he said he wanted to do, just kind of raise the competitiveness of all the all-stars. But I guess we'll watch and find out. Hopefully, it ends up being good. So
nice.
All right. Well, that will wrap it up for us tonight. I'm John. This is Rob for Buckets, Boards, and Banner. Thanks for watching. See you.